welcome to the Lonestar Collective Podcast. I'm your host, Jesse Williams. We're at the Southern Hemp Expo here in Nashville, Tennessee. Man, it has been quite a week, hasn't it, Jesse?
It sure has, Jess.
Another Jesse Kearns from New Bloom Labs.
How's it going, folks?
It has been quite a week. How many people would you say you've run into, Jesse?
Man, it's been a really good show for us. There has been great floor traffic. You know, a lot of these shows, some of them can be in remote areas and aren't advertised as well. Morris and his team have done a really great job and have executed a plan here to have multiple facets of a trade show, I'll say. There's music festivals, there's sections over here for specific fiber and grain, and it's just been a really good show for us. And of course, as an analytical laboratory that has a lab right down the road, this is our backyard. This is what you would call a home game for us. So a lot of our clients are here, and we call it a Team New Bloom party.
Y'all have a lab in Chattanooga, correct?
Yes. So I'm the co-founder of New Bloom Labs. We have a facility in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and another one in Dallas, Texas. We perform rapid chemical analysis on cannabis and cannabis-derived products for the purpose of legal compliance, quality control, and consumer safety.
I talked about how I've seen labs from products in Florida that has New Bloom on it. What states would you say you've seen from other? Obviously, you've got Tennessee coming in.
Yeah.
You know Florida now.
Yeah, I mean, we feel like we have a national footprint because of a few things that set us apart, mainly our ethical and reliable lab testing practices and our rapid turnaround. We have great customer service, and we report most tests the next business day. So we feel like we have a national footprint. Our lab in Dallas was strategically put in Dallas because it's further north in Texas, and we get a lot of business out of Colorado and Oregon and other states that are around there because there's so much mail and so much shipping in Dallas that you can get pretty much any package in the United States to Dallas in a day.
Oh, yeah, it's easy. There's obviously other package companies besides just the regular postal service.
Yeah.
It's an easily accessible area.
Yes.
If I remember correctly, y'all were in the Oak Cliff area.
Oak Cliff is where my home is, and that's where my apartment, and that's where I live, and that's what I call home. I tried to make a small town out of a very big place. And on the other side of the river, Oak Cliff is a really great neighborhood. Eddie's right down the road of Oak Cliff Cultivators, and it's just a real community feel that I've really come to enjoy. But our lab is located about 20 minutes up the road near Love Field, right off 35E, so the West Dallas area.
We just had the Texas Cannabis Roundup.
Yeah.
You were telling me, like, my lab's just right down the street from here.
Yeah, we say it's just a dog-leg par 5 away.
Nice. So how are you enjoying Nashville for this?
Nashville's been really good. It's been really great. So I flew in at the beginning of the week and did a couple of days at the Chattanooga laboratory, got to check in with some staff and see how things were going there. And then on our way up Thursday, we stopped by Volunteer Botanicals. They have a booth here. They're a tablet company. They make kind of like a little sweet tart type tablets and stuff. They do custom formulations for folks. They've helped out a lot of sick folks, and they have really great products. And they make, large orders also. And they had a ribbon cutting at a new facility they had on some property, and they, had some state reps come by and the news and stuff. And they've just been great, had a great collaboration with them for years. So we wanted to come there, see their facility, and welcome them into their new
You mentioned
space.
these tablets, and what I've got on my mind now is that like a Pez dispenser.
Yeah.
With hemp Pez.
Yeah, they do. They help out a lot of really sick folks. A lot of people don't have access to, and not necessarily high THC, but a custom formulation to help them if they are going through first-time cancer treatments or chemotherapy and you don't really know what to expect. They can kind of
Recognized as like a compounding facility.
Exactly.
Nice. That's I've had salves made like that for like my knees where they put different stuff in different levels.
Mm-hmm.
And you adjust it according to their need, and it's this miracle that you've made this compound adjustment.
Yeah, I mean, there's tons of great products out here, but as everyone will clearly say, everyone's endocannabinoid system is different. So you're going to respond to different products differently than your own brother would.
I know in the past you've talked about what all your tests cover as far as analysis goes. Maybe you give another. Y'all got new ones y'all have done, or
So we're in the process. We're going to add some more residual solvents and pesticides to meet a couple of other state regulations that have added some more. So in order to continue doing business in Florida and stuff like that, they have added some things that just takes us a couple of months to add on also. But our main stock and trade is that potency test. We're up to 21 total cannabinoids. We've recently added the 2 enantiomers of HHC reported as 9R HHC and 9S HHC. We have clear resolution between Delta 8 and Delta 9, and we do it very rapidly and ethically. You can check out our website. We recently released a statement of laboratory ethics that goes into several layers of what really some practices that we're really proud of and that have served us well in the industry since 2019.
Awesome. I see the box here, and
Yeah.
you know the logo, what you're looking for. What you got in the box?
So this is one of our sampling kits. This is one of the things that we tooled up at our very first year. It contains all the materials that you need to send us a sample. As you guys well know, there's a lot of remote areas in Texas and Tennessee, and you might not have access to the proper materials you need to send us a sample. The main thing is this coffee bag right here. This is a non-lined thick paper coffee bag that will allow moisture to escape, and you can ship your fresh, wet hemp samples in this. We do compliance testing in 9 states, also with the USDA. So wet samples that are taken by an official sampler are going to be very wet by nature, literally dew on the plants in the morning. So you need something that's going to suck up some of that moisture and to let some of it out. Absolutely. It does let it breathe. And these vials, we also offer these. These are for salves and tinctures. And while a product formulator or a manufacturer's formulating a tincture and they don't really have their bottle ready yet because they don't know what to put on the label. So you can put it in this vial, ship it up to us, and we'll give you a result the next day. Also, sample collection instructions, and there's order forms. The sample submission form is what you fill out and enclose in the box along with the sample.
Awesome. It's great hearing you. I've got new things coming up as far as testing is concerned. You're showing off this lab kit. I mean, it gives a great idea of what you're getting and how you're going to send things off, because even I've been puzzled by what these kits look like at times, how this process would work.
Mm-hmm.
But I also understand you and New Bloom are part of the Industrial Hemp Coalition.
Yeah, so
Texas Hemp Coalition.
Yeah. So I've been very proud to work with Alyssa Nolan and the Texas Hemp Coalition from the very beginning. I've been a vice president and executive board member from the first day, and we've been out here advocating and provide education and networking for Texas hemp. There's no doubt the first year in production, COVID was happening. We're in a pandemic. You know, a lot of people working from home, and the government bodies weren't readily available. And a lot of folks had questions. So we started our hemp coalition to alleviate that bottleneck in information and be an advocacy group. And as you well know, as I saw Jesse many, many times at the Capitol, where the rubber really meets the road for us is at the Capitol during the legislative session when the hemp cleanup bill came out, and a lot of wild things happened. Everybody knows, you know, the Delta 8 ban came in and essentially killed the bill, and that was unfortunate.
It was becoming a war.
Yeah.
It was like an outright war. They were trying. It seemed like there was a setup to pit the farmers against the retail side.
And just the timing of the whole thing was a little unfortunate, but that's why the wheels are in motion now. The draft bills are getting proposed, and we're gonna be ready next year, and we're gonna be ready this year for those. So draft bills are coming. There were a lot of really positive things on the hemp bill side that did get cut because of the Delta 8 ban. And Jesse was there on the front lines. I say it often, Jess, if there's 5 people on a sidewalk, street corner in Austin talking about cannabis, within 10 minutes, Jesse Williams will be there. And he will be giving the proper information and giving the proper education for folks that are learning about cannabis, curious about cannabis, but still are a little uneasy, and erasing that stigma and being out here in the community and showing that it's safe and that it has many more benefits than just some intoxicating effects.
Y'all have an event coming up, correct?
We do have an event. The Texas Hemp Summit is November 10th and 11th weekend at Texas A&M and College Station.
Yeah, College Station, Texas A&M.
Yeah, that's going to be really, really great product. We're going to have a lot of vendors. There's going to be a lot of speakers. Representative King is going to be there. Also, Sid Miller will be there, giving his state of hemp on the agricultural side. So that's real exciting.
Awesome. Great to be hearing about that. I've heard several other people talk about Texas A&M, not just for their hemp. Apparently the legal program, their legal program, I guess, was when they started putting that in, was focusing on some cannabis stuff as well.
Yeah.
So that combined with them having the hemp program is awesome to hear. The date again, where can people find out more information?
You can find out anything you need to know about New Bloom Labs at newbloomlabs.com. We're also on Facebook and Instagram at New Bloom Labs. And if anybody ever needs to contact me directly, you can contact us at 844-TEST-CBD.
Awesome. Well, that is going to do it for this segment of the Lone Star Collective podcast. I'm your host, Jesse Williams. I'm joined by guest Jesse Kearns of New Bloom Labs. We will be right back after these sponsor messages. We're at the Southern Hemp Expo in Nashville, Tennessee.
Cultivators is a sponsor of Texas Cannabis Collective and the Lone Star Collective podcast. Oak Cliff focuses on quality assurance with their hemp products while providing customer service to help you discover cannabinoids to meet your needs. Their product line includes hemp flower, pre-rolls, CBG tinctures, edibles, Delta-8, and merch. For more information on their products' quality or to shop online today, visit oakcliffcultivators.com or contact them at info@oakcliffcultivators.com.
Thrive Apothecary offers an experience truly unique from anything else in Texas. A full-service cannabis solution that is doctor-owned and offers customers every level of cannabis legally available in Texas. From traditional CBD products to emerging hemp-derived THC edibles, smokables, and now medical cannabis. As a licensed medical cannabis provider, prospective patients from anywhere in Texas can book a sponsored online eligibility consultation to determine if they qualify for a medical marijuana prescription from the comfort of their own home. Plus, for Texas veterans, the first prescription appointment is donated by Thrive. Visit thrivetx.com for more information.
Welcome back to the Lone Star Collective podcast, distributed on Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Facebook, and much more, to give Texans information regarding policy, industry, and culture. Here is this week's host, Jesse Williams and Austin Sam Hariri.
Welcome back to the Lone Star Collective podcast. I'm your host, Jesse Williams. I'm at the Southern Hemp Expo in Nashville, Tennessee. It is Saturday afternoon. Been having a wonderful time this week. Going out meeting new people, meeting new vendors here in Tennessee, all sorts of collections from the South, across the U.S., really. I'm joined by Diane Ogede.
Yep, Diane Ogede, yep.
You've come here just as a regular attendee.
Yeah.
Explain your background a little bit. I saw a software engineer on the card you gave me.
Yeah. So, hi, everyone. My name is Diane. I am originally from Chicago. Currently, I work as a software developer for an industrial tool retailer. But also, like, kind of outside of work, I've dabbled in various other things. So, I have a swimwear brand called Aya Swimwear. My partner, he's very interested in the industrial uses of hemp fibers. And so I've been working with him throughout this summer to kind of come up with methods that he can replicate to create bioplastics. And so that's kind of where it led us to where we are now, to coming down to Tennessee and checking out the Southern Hemp Expo. For me personally, just for more education, to understand the industry as a whole, the players, what are some friction points for people in this industry, what are some regulations people are trying to push for, how to better educate myself so I can go out and, make change or like make sure I'm practicing best practices, basically. So yeah, that's kind of why I'm here.
So yesterday, because we met at the mixer and then we were talking, we went and had like a drink and I had a dinner.
Yeah.
We were talking about y'all were interested in the Texas field of things.
Yeah. So we live in Chicago. We just personally would love to live somewhere warm. My partner, his brother just moved down to Texas, to San Antonio, and he's been trying to get us to come down there. But we also, as people who are interested in like potentially one day like growing our own business, starting our own business, we want to go somewhere that has a supportive environment for that. And so, yeah, Texas is somewhere that a lot of people kind of generally say is a good place for business owners, for people who kind of want, tax reasons. Texas is a good place, but I'm kind of curious. Like, I'm here in Tennessee and I'm hearing really great things coming from the Department of Agriculture here. A lot of partnership between politicians and farmers and business owners in Tennessee. So I don't want to overlook some other good opportunities in other places, but Texas, yeah, for sure, is where we're looking into as well.
What kind of questions do you have about Texas you think would be pertinent that possibly our audience could answer or I could try to answer?
Yeah, so I've learned a lot here at this expo. A lot of it is just educating myself on the difference between the hemp fiber grain versus the flower. And so as someone who's trying to, enter into this industry, like what are some friction points specific to Texas that people are facing? Like if they want to go in and open a dispensary or come out with a CBD line, is it open for folks to vertically integrate so they have land and they can grow the flower themselves, the hemp themselves, or is it something where they have to do a lot of more strategic planning where they get things from out of state and then bring it in, and like how's it work?
I'd say it's personally, I would say it's a combination of the two. Like you're allowed to vertically integrate if you want to do so. There's nothing stopping anybody from doing vertical integration. From my understanding, I think like Florida requires vertical integration.
Okay.
But we don't require it.
Yeah.
But there is strategic planning. Like if you're going to be farming, you obviously, as our ag commissioner said in the past, do not farm unless you know you've got a buyer lined up.
Exactly, yeah.
And that's just, to me, I'm like, that's smart business.
Yeah.
But it's also, for people who are coming in who are new, it's like, make sure you've got a strategy before you start. Because there's people who jump in, they get loans for a lot of equipment, and then they have no clue how to actually even really grow it. They need a consultant to come in. There's been some shady consultants in the field.
Yeah,
They'll take your $5,000 and never consult.
Yeah.
But we're opening a lot of manufacturing facilities for industrial. I think it's Panda Biotech is finishing up one in Wichita Falls. They claim it will be the largest industrial hemp processing plant in the United States.
Wow. Okay.
So they're putting the finishing touches on it, from what I've heard.
Yeah.
We've got a couple of hemp processors here and there. Texas Hemp Processors. They've been here at the convention. I want to shout out to them. They're obviously Texas group. Lucas Evans. They've been working on creating like the hemp concrete and like they call it.
Very interested in that as well.
They have like a hemp plexiglass that I've seen them put on display.
Okay, very cool. I have to look them up after.
I see. We're very much trying to do a lot of. We've got people doing industrial projects. We've got a guy in San Antonio who his name is Amos Lozano. He had a juice bar, and that's where he originally started doing business. And then he created a company called MJ's to make hemp T-shirts. And then he went back to the juice bar concept and was like, I'm going to build a new facility completely out of hemp. Yeah. Out of hemp products. Yeah. So it's like hempcrete put together. Yeah. And the issue that we're running into still, and this is not just a Texas problem, is that there is no building code yet for using
using the space out for the hemp.
Doing so. So there's some cities that go, no, you must meet that federal code. And one doesn't exist for this hempcrete yet. Yeah. Oh. So they got ingenuity into it, and they wound up raising it up and putting it on a trailer, and they're like, well, it's not a foundation building.
Yeah, you got to find the loopholes, I guess.
But they created a whole juice bar out of this.
Wow.
So there's people being innovative in Texas with that.
That is, okay, so that's pretty cool, and that's really interesting to hear that, someone is going to be opening the largest industrial hemp, processing plant, or is that what you were saying?
Panda Biotech.
Panda Biotech. So that, I feel like, can't happen without collaboration between the business owner and the local politicians. And
well, there was lots of meetings with that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And Wichita Falls was not the first city they looked at either.
So then, okay, so is this a county by county where you find people who are open to these things, or is it statewide?
Our law is written that no county can ban it.
Okay.
Which is kind of odd because our alcohol laws in the state allow for a county to be what we call wet versus dry.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But we do not allow a dry hemp county to exist.
Okay.
So you can sell in any county.
Yeah.
You obviously got to go through whatever permitting process a city may have or a county may have.
Yeah.
And I imagine there's people who've put in for permits and they got denied because they're just like, we don't want that type of business in our town.
Yeah, I've heard of that in Illinois, where I'm from.
It becomes an issue we've had. We were discussing this last night. Was there were a group of farmers who they're basically vertically integrated.
Yeah, yeah.
And the county, it wasn't that I would say they weren't open to it. Was they had not been disseminated information.
Exactly, correctly.
Tell them, hey, this is this new thing. Is this weird on carve out? It's gonna look, smell, and
Similar.
feel like weed, but it's not legally weed anymore.
Yeah.
So they had a raid. This is out in Navarro County. Sky and Hobbs Organics was the name of the company.
Sky and Hobbs, okay.
Had them on a podcast. So anybody who wishes to know more about that can go and watch the Sky and Hobbs episode where we brought them on. And they spent over a year in a legal battle just trying to get out of trouble for something they shouldn't have been in trouble for in the first place.
So that brings me, I guess, to my next question. Just like, there's no dry counties in Texas. Legally, you are able to go in and like start these businesses. What's kind of like the regulations that you have to like be mindful of? Like, what are the fees that people are having to pay? Like, what do you have to set up financially before even like mentally you have to know like, okay, I need to be ready to spend $100,000 this like first year just to get all the paperwork.
Our licenses, what I've seen compared to other states, our licenses are horrendously cheap. Now there's debate on whether we were supposed to have the cost for some of these licenses, some of these other fees we have, but on like the Texas Agriculture Department side, the Texas Department of Agriculture side, you're looking at spending, I think it's like $200 to $300. Like the licenses themselves, as two separate ones, are like $100 a piece. And there's some other little miscellaneous things you have to get with it. I think it comes out to about $300.
That's nothing.
And then if you want to be a retail side, you go through our Department of State Health Services, DSHS. You'll hear people in Texas refer to it as dishes for short.
Okay, that's easy to remember. Dishes.
So our dishes is our Department of State Health Services. They govern the administrative code for the retail side, which did do that. It's like two separate licenses, $100 a piece. So it's $200 if you want.
Nothing.
So say you run a gas station and you want to sell
you can do it.
Which I do not ever recommend buying, as I say, gas station CBD. There are probably all legitimate brands out there, but I'm personally the type that thinks it's a little bit, I don't want to say delegitimizing, but you don't want to be in line with gas station burritos.
And you can never tell who's sneaking in what to the gas station owner to put it in their store. So
something that a lot of people aren't aware of is we have what's called a lot permit fee.
Okay.
Say like the room we're in right now, if you pull out the whole room and you had just one strain of hemp flower you were going to grow, that would be one lot permit fee. But if you have a specific size divider, between them, you would need 2 lot permit fees. If you grow a second strain, you need now a second lot permit fee. So you could actually have just 5 shelves with 5 plants on them. And if each shelf has a different strain going in it, you need 5 lot permits.
So that's how they get you then.
It's like 60, but it's not like they're like, $100,000 for a lot permit fee. I think it's like $60.
Sure. But if you want to make the most use out of your space, then that's how it gets you. If you're trying to put a lot of different strains in one spot.
Let's say if you're trying to grow 30 strains in one little small building.
You're going to pay.
And every time you start a new crop, you had to have a lot permit fee for it. So once you harvest, that permit's gone for that lot.
Okay, well, so the barrier of entry doesn't seem too terrible in Texas, but we were talking last night about just people in general. I don't want to generalize, so people don't come after me if I say anything that comes off as offensive. But you have the generalization that people down. Oh, sorry. You have the generalization that people down in Texas are a little bit more religious, a little bit more conservative. So although you may feel like you're able to get through the legal hurdles, the regulatory hurdles, how are people able, or what's the sentiment in general with people in Texas, say San Antonio, or maybe maybe it's not everywhere you can go to. Maybe Austin is different than San Antonio, than Dallas and Houston. Like, what's the
major
vibes?
Cities tend to be the majority is open to cannabis in general.
Okay.
When you start getting suburbs, there's suburbs of like Dallas, like Grand Prairie is a place where you do not want to be caught with especially marijuana on you. Their police chief showed up to our legislative session, was speaking flat out against cannabis decriminalization. Really, I'd say there are areas where it's possible that people are going, well, I haven't heard my pastor ever say that this is a good thing. And there's a few pastors out there who are going to be like, well, this is a drug, it's intoxicating, it's not good for you. And my personal thing, when I talk to people, I would say you would think are religious about it. it's a point of when we talk about using it for your medical benefit. I've been trying to rephrase saying medical use.
I like that.
It becomes this strange thing with some people where they don't want to have recreational because there's medicinal. And I go, they're afraid that, like, we'll pick 3 medicines out of CVS that you'd use recreationally, and people are like, no. So I say, if it's working for your health benefit, your medical benefit, does our religion say that we shouldn't explore things that has been given to us for medical benefit?
Yeah, I agree. And then you can even argue that why God put everything in this earth and he created everything kind of in his image. Why would he put something on this planet that obviously we found has use cases and is good for us? Why would it be bad? Like, how can we make the argument that this is bad?
And I've strangely heard people, well, God created volcanoes. Are you going to go jump? It's like,
it's not
my medical benefit. Well, it's not my medical benefit to go jump in a volcano.
But volcanoes also have their benefits as well. They are not pleasant, and it's not everything that's for our good will be easy and painless. So, hey, you can make an argument either way.
It's something that I've noticed is I don't think people are worried about. I'd say that religious reasons. They're like, oh, that's a sin.
Yeah.
They're more worried about that it's a vice.
Okay,
and it would be abused. And it's as we've had to elaborate. I appreciate Dr. Brimberry has told me this, and I loved how he said it. He goes, a medical program is not to intoxicate people. A medical program is to heal you or help you out with an ailment you have. Our goal is not to intoxicate you. Our goal is to make you feel better.
Yeah.
And if we're intoxicating you, then we need to adjust what's happening because that's not our goal.
Exactly.
So if you have people saying, well, they're just wanting to be in the medical program so they can be wasted.
Yeah.
That's somebody who, as the doctor would say, is possibly abusing the program. And we're not wanting that. We're wanting, as we say, responsible adult use.
Exactly.
It's bad we had to say responsible adult because unfortunately there are irresponsible adults out there. And when you're irresponsible, I think you should face a penalty if you've been hurting other people. If you hurt other people,
and that should be also a part of the conversation as well to deter like bad actors from wanting to kind of come into this space and making it hard for people who are trying to be legitimate and be helpful from doing that. So yeah, I agree. Bad actors should be treated, should face consequences, and people who do well in this space should be rewarded and shouldn't have to deal with friction or hurdles. So.
Any other questions you have about the Texas space? Anything that's been on your mind?
Yeah. So I'm just here, and I feel like maybe you've had other guests come on who are more educated and they know a lot more about hemp and the industry and differences between hemp as a medicine versus hemp as a food. I'm like learning about hemp as a food. I'm learning about hemp as for clothing. Well, I knew that we can do that for clothing, but just like learning about the various different use cases for it. I guess. What advice maybe would you have for someone that's like myself that's considering they want to do it, they want to jump in like feet first and dive in and get to know people? Like obviously we have the Texas Cannabis Collective, but where else can people go kind of to get involved and be a part of this community?
So in Texas, we've had an organization that's been helping doing decriminalization measures across Texas.
Yeah.
Their only focus has not been decriminalization. They're looking at like wage issues. They've been looking at no-knock warrants went on in the city I'm in, we had a decrim measure to not arrest for 4 ounces of flower or less, but we also attached no-knock warrant raids.
Yeah.
So we said, we don't want that happening in our city. Yeah. So Ground Game Texas has been involved with that. They've helped us we've worked with them in several cities to collect signatures to do things such as that. We have another group, Texas Normal in Texas.
Okay.
Helps work towards getting like better medical programs and legalization in the state. And they focus a lot more on the state level items and then possibly like a little bit on national.
Yeah.
So shout out to Jax James. She's the executive director there. And I believe she's the state policy director for National Normal now.
Okay.
So she's definitely somebody to be in the know about, see what she's talking about with the space. Yeah. We've got a group, Texas for Responsible Marijuana Policy, that has advocated for like decrim measures. Yeah. And we say responsible use. It's a proper medical program.
Common sense policy.
Yeah, common sense legalization policies. Yeah. And they've been at the Capitol. They work more on state level items as well. There's disability groups in Texas that are working with it. Yeah. I feel bad because none of the names are off the top of my head.
You're
I'm
dropping gems though. I wish I could be talking and taking notes, but I guess I'll have to like watch the podcast again and like write down all of the people you've mentioned and all of the groups you've mentioned because it's been really helpful so far.
We are going to go into our sponsor break here at the Lone Star Collective podcast. Diane Ogede.
Yes.
Correct?
Yep.
And you've joined here. You've been around here.
Yep.
Walking the stage. I thank you for spending your time with us and
Thank
asking
you for
questions.
having me.
No problem. Appreciate you being here. I hope you enjoy the rest of the event. I'm Jesse Williams. This is the Lone Star Collective podcast. We'll be right back after this sponsor break from the Southern Hemp Expo in Nashville, Tennessee.
Cultivators is a sponsor of Texas Cannabis Collective and the Lone Star Collective podcast. Oak Cliff focuses on quality assurance with their hemp products while providing customer service to help you discover cannabinoids to meet your needs. Their product line includes hemp flower, pre-rolls, CBG tinctures, edibles, Delta 8, and merch. For more information on their products' quality or to shop online today, visit oakcliffcultivators.com or contact them at info@oakcliffcultivators.com.
Thrive Apothecary offers an experience truly unique from anything else in Texas. A full-service cannabis solution that is doctor-owned and offers customers every level of cannabis legally available in Texas. From traditional CBD products to emerging hemp-derived THC edibles, smokables, and now medical cannabis. As a licensed medical cannabis provider, prospective patients from anywhere in Texas can book a sponsored online eligibility consultation to determine if they qualify for a medical marijuana prescription from the comfort of their own home. Plus, for Texas veterans, the first prescription appointment is donated by Thrive. Visit thrivetx.com for more information.
Welcome back to the Lone Star Collective podcast, distributed on Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Facebook, and much more, to give Texans information regarding policy, industry, and culture. Here is this week's host, Jesse Williams and Austin Sam Hariri.
Welcome back to the Lone Star Collective podcast. I'm your host, Jesse Williams. We're recording live from the Southern Hemp Expo in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm joined by guest Lisa Cepeda. You are known on Instagram as Texas Lisa. How have you enjoyed the expo so far?
I've enjoyed this expo very much. I'm here representing Texas. It's my first out-of-town expo, out-of-state expo. So it's exciting. It's also my first time in Nashville.
You never been to NOCO?
No, I haven't been to NOCO yet.
So my first one was NOCO. So this is my second one, my first Southern Hemp Expo. I'd say I've thoroughly enjoyed it, seeing it, especially we have Texas people around here, such as yourself. Dalton's joined us. Dalton and Leah were doing MC work.
Yes, it was great to see all the representation of Texas here in Nashville. We also have Grace with us at Texas Hemp today.
Yes, we're going to be having her on here in a moment. She'll be getting to say some words here in a few moments. Is there anything here that you would say has stuck out to you, being a Texas person?
I have to say, because I have to rep for them for sure, Trojan Horse Cannabis has really stuck out to me. I really like all their products. So I'll be working with them now because everything's hemp-derived THC, which we can totally legally sell in Texas. I'll be bringing that back with us.
I met them. We were talking about that. They were at the Lucky Leaf Dallas. They're out of California, correct?
Yes. And they have some distribution going on in Colorado and Arizona. They're all over the U.S.
And they were one of the first people I saw that had a product where they were like, yes, we've made the gummy big enough that we can put enough THC in it.
Yes, that's where I first met them too. I was on that particular product.
Yeah, I'd say they've been kind of ahead of the game with that.
The dose.
I'm wondering, how would you say Texas was? To me, Texas was very leery about doing that. It seemed like it wasn't doable, but it should have been, to me, painfully obvious you could. How would you say Texas moved along with that from what you've seen?
I mean, I feel like we're going along with it. I mean, it's what I feel like it's a very safe product to be selling within the state. I've always had, like good highs with it on the dosing. It's just always have to pay attention to that. You have to look at your package, look at the COAs, look where your product's coming from, know what you're putting in your body for sure. So it's like, educating yourself as a consumer is a big step. I'm a big fan of their high spirits beverage. That's something new that they're rolling out. So they've got an indica can, a sativa brand. They're kind of like tall boys. You know how many ounces is in that? Maybe 24? Yeah, tall boy, un kawama. It's a 0.3% THC in the whole can. So you really get the spread of like a good amount of a high in the whole can rather than packing it in a smaller can. So it makes it, to me, easy to like throw back a few, like take some to a barbecue. Have a 4-pack rather than just having just that one drink that might have like 20 milligrams in it. Like that's, you know how you feel after that.
I had to ask because I had a drink here the other day and I was like, oh, this is more like sparkling water with actual flavor put into it, but not so much that you're like, this is now lime soda. It was properly lime accented soda. And there's some companies that they're giving you what tastes like a hard seltzer.
Right.
Which one would you say?
Where it
falls?
It's definitely not a hard seltzer. It does have a little bit more of that limey type of water flavor, but it is more carbonated to where it's sparkling. Okay. Yeah, I would definitely say just about any beverage I had here that's like in the industry tastes really good. Like the flavor profile, just like with gummies, it's like you got to have something that tastes good. So I love everyone's products that I've been tasting out here, whether it be CBD, Delta 8, Delta 9, whatever it is. It's so good.
Awesome. Is there any speakers you've listened to? Anybody that stood out?
Right now, I mean, everyone's really been speaking out. This last one is fresh in my head. We just forgot his name, but he was talking about the education and trying to break more of the ground into athletes, and talking to the NFL and NFL allowing to have more THC, with the athletes. And I was like, that's pretty significant. Consistently, yes, exactly. So it shouldn't only be just like topical solutions like CBD. Like you can take things inside that for anti-inflammatory properties. And I was like, this is something that's pretty serious. I feel it's a good plant. It's a good plant medicine rather than putting all these other things in your body when you're trying to recover.
A whole salad of pills. I've run into it. I call it the salad of pills, where let's put you on pill A. Well, now symptom B is happening. Well, let's put you on pill B to fix the symptom. Well, now there's a new symptom. Let's put you on pill C. And now you're on 3 pills. And you just go in this circle until you're back to the symptoms you had before. And now you're on like 12 medications and you're like, yo, I feel worse. What can we do to fix this? And so you stop taking all these meds and you're like, well, I feel way better now.
Yeah, I got to dial it back. So you hear it as a salad. I hear it as like a pill cocktail.
The cocktail salad. If you've seen Grandma's Boy, where she's got the pills on the plate, she's putting the honey on it.
Oh, I love her. Grandma's Boy with the tea. Oh, I want to try that tea with Grandma.
Bay, or whatever her name was. And he's like, that's quite the buffet you've got there. She's like, thank you.
That was a good movie. I need to watch it again.
Drive, monkey, drive.
Right, with the plug?
Yeah.
Tried some Pineapple Express, and then that spun off into Pineapple Express, like the movie.
Plug your Instagram.
My Instagram, give me a follow, Texas_Lisa. You could also find me on Snapchat as Texas_Lisa.
You got an event coming up, right?
I do have an event coming up. It's almost exactly a week away. It's next Sunday in Austin. So let me know if you're in Austin. I have a 50-person party barge booked, and it is the stoner party of the year. I do it every single year, and this year is to celebrate my 1-year anniversary as Texas Lisa.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you coming and spending your time over here. I'll let you go because I know you've got to get to a lunch here in a moment. So we thank Lisa Cepeda, Texas Lisa, for coming on the Lone Star Collective podcast. I'm your host, Jesse Williams. This is the live from the Southern Hemp Expo. We're going to bring on our friend Grace Delgado from Texas Hemp today. Come over here, Grace.
Thank you, Jesse.
Lone Star Collective podcast, host Jesse Williams. This is Grace Delgado. She runs Texas Hemp today. She's been joining us here at the Southern Hemp Expo in Nashville, Tennessee. What's the event been like for you?
It's been a really beautiful event so far. Everyone has been super friendly. The staff, of course, everyone, all of the vendors, everyone's materials top notch, going up and down the aisles and seeing how passionate everyone is about their products. So it's really cool to see like the multiple aspects of the industry come in one.
Great. Has there been a booth in particular you would say has just stuck out for you that you're like, this is it? And it can be the booth you just got the shirt at if that's the one.
Oh yeah, that's one too. So I don't remember their name, but their shirt's in my backpack. But yeah, I just bought a shirt from there. They're really cute. It's a bunch of like leaves, so fan leaves and like mushrooms, and then it's really cute stuff printed on wood. So definitely aesthetically pleasing. I asked if it was made out of hemp wood, and they said if they made it out of hemp wood, they couldn't ride it, like so people couldn't use it as a skateboard, but they can for display purposes. So I'd like to see more of that in the future.
Yeah, they had skateboard decks there with like these mushroom designs on it.
Yes.
There's just somewhere between psychedelic Mario and Sonic the Hedgehog's Mushroom World.
It sounds like a paradise to me.
Has there been any consumable booths that you would say has stuck out to you?
That is a very good question. I think definitely the beverages have been what stuck out to me the most. I really liked High Rise. It was a really clean, crisp, like bubbly drink, but it wasn't too bubbly. I really like that.
That's what I was talking about with Lisa a moment ago. It's High Rise.
Oh, nice. And then Sprung, I think that's how you say their name. They have a really good flavored beverage if you're definitely looking for something on the sweeter side. Also, High Rise, one of their cans is a 20 milligram can. So if you want to get a little turned on one can, that is definitely something that you can do. So I know that there are different brands that have like just people out there, like as you're consuming beverages, just being aware of how much dosage is in each can, because I tend to like over drink and consume, because especially with stuff like water, just to be mindful of that so you don't get too high. So that's the reason why I'm just pointing it out to you guys. But I mean, I love all levels of drinks.
It's been, as we were talking about, I was trying to get to packaging earlier, Lisa was talking about with paying attention, is that like there's packages where they say we have 10 gummies and they're 25 milligrams a piece. And then you have places like where we've got Delta 8 gummies that they're 25, 30 milligrams a piece, or like there's 50 in a gummy and they've got 10 gummies. So you've got to really pay attention because 250 milligrams versus 500 is a different day.
100. And there's been a couple of booths out here when it comes to their edibles. They will have non-medicated, but you still have the opportunity to just like taste what the gummy's like. I know I have experience in that field a little bit. So really feeling like, what's the texture in your mouth? How thick is it? You know, what type of, is this vegan? Is it not vegan? Is it, there was a company, oh man, I forgot what their name is. So, but I have also their edibles. I bought them as well. Their gummies were really like fluffy, like pillows almost. And it was really, really good. And the reason why it was made out of gelatin, they went through about how when you're having versus a pectin is the bioavailability based because it's not a vegan product. So I thought,
know exactly the company you're talking about.
Yeah, these guys.
These little things. They're from Ghost Kitchen Hemp.
Yeah, they tasted like little pillows. So I'm excited to dive into the package to see like what it tastes like in the packaging, because that's like moisture and like other high level stuff that I have like education in. So yeah, those are my favorite edibles. Those are one of my favorites so far.
You mentioned about being able to like taste test, and it's not popped in my head that usually when a food comes out, there's colleges where they do these taste tests. They'll put special colored lights. That way they can change what the food looks like color-wise, and they see how much it changes the perception of the taste. So like an example, Oklahoma State University does this. I've seen, they have like a booth you sit in with, like, it has a regular white light, a red light, a blue light, and a yellow light. And this is why you don't see purple ketchup anymore. You don't see the green ketchup.
That's why. All those commercials in the 90s where it was like purple ketchup, other stuff was like red ketchup. Just kidding.
It was something they didn't realize that they had to start doing this, because people are like, oh, cool, purple ketchup sounds cool, until you start putting it on a plate with French fries.
That's true.
And you're like, this doesn't taste the same. But it technically does. It's just your brain has told you now, because it's purple, it's something wrong.
Especially with kids, and purple is, I forgot what vitamin that comes from the purple plant, but kids are more susceptible to eat stuff like that. Looks healthy.
So we don't have that type of industry working for gummies right now.
Nope.
So you had to have taste tests set out to get a feel for what your customer may like versus the look of it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, just R&D all the time, everywhere you go.
We don't have R&D where we should have R&D. Is there anything that you've got going on you want to plug? Any events you're going to be attending?
I have Mary J's 5-year anniversary that's coming up in October. So if you're in the Austin area and you love supporting women-owned businesses who are queer and all-inclusive, they're Texas's most inclusive dispensary. Come on down. It's a really great place, or follow them on social media to check out the party. Really cool people. And if you want to follow me, I'm Texas Hemp Today on Instagram, Texas Cannabis Today everywhere else. And there we just cover anything on the hemp and cannabis world on top of any psychedelic, and then Web3 updates as well. So any NFT stuff and all that cool stuff that you'll see on my page. So come on by.
Texas Hemp Today, correct?
Yes. On Instagram.
Awesome. Great to have you here. Glad you're enjoying the event. Hope you will enjoy the rest of your time in Tennessee. Are you leaving today, or are you?
I am going to the Smoky Mountains. So I'm going to go foraging for mushrooms like a nerd, which I am, totally love. So I'm going to go foraging for mushrooms and hang out in the mountains.
Awesome. That sounds like quite the adventure for the day.
It is.
This is over. I'm heading out. I go get in my car. I'm going to head to Walmart, get a souvenir for my kiddo.
Aw, yay.
And then I'm going to, because I get like a shirt or something, and then I'm going to hit the airport. I'm getting out of town.
Ooh, you should get him a hemp shirt. Yeah, they have it all up the front. They have some really cool stuff, like even the guitar stuff up there too, because Morris's guitars, those are amazing. So I have some video of that. Morris's guitars are badass. So
Yeah, Morris is he's a guitar guy. Builds hemp. Apparently, from my understanding, years ago, that's one of the things he started doing, was building hemp-based guitars.
it's nice. Yeah, they're really, really cool. I have some shots of them. We should probably throw some video footage of the guitars.
Alrighty. Well, yet again, we thank you for showing up. We hope you enjoy your time here in Tennessee. I'm Jesse Williams. I'm the host of Lonestar Collective Podcast. Our guest, Grace Delgado of Texas Hemp Today. We will be right back after these sponsor messages. We are live recording from the Southern Hemp Expo in Nashville, Tennessee.